Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's Strong and Steady class. I am Jen. Let's get started with our warm-up. So let's extend our arms away from our chest and work through our small circles. Excellent. 5 to 8 of those circles and change directions. Soft tops of shoulders, relaxed in the neck. Still in your torso, exhaling into your low belly. All right, and now work through big circles. Good. Switch arms. Reaching for that back wall, feeling that chest open up. Good. And now let's rise from our chair, place our hands on our hips, feet comfortably distanced apart, soft knees. Exhale and let's hinge, lowering a neutral spine, parallel to ground, leading from the chest. Pressing the heels into the ground to activate hamstrings and glutes to rise. Good, one more. All right, so now we should have some good blood flow in those muscles. Let's go ahead and cross our arms out in front. And we're gonna squat using our body weight squats. A little deeper warm up here before we take on our work. All right, excellent. Okay, so let's start our work today. We're going to start in a standing position, and we have 3 rounds of really strength training, dumbbell focus work, some body weight before we move into slowly getting on the ground and working on our Pilates. So let's get started. All right, we're going to start with a good hip opener. We're going to do around the chair lunges. Okay, so that means we're going to do a forward, a backward, and then a side lunge. Okay, so let's go ahead, and now what we're going to do in terms of sequence is we're going to do 10 of these. All right, so you're going to start off with this forward and reverse and side lunge, and you aren't going to drive yourself into a huge hip opener. We're looking at these lunges to help create more hip openness. Okay, so I have this chair on my right. All right, and I'm going to stride forward, keeping my right foot down. So stride forward, lunge together and back, and then open up to the side. And that's 1. Okay, we'll take 5 on this leg. 1, 2, back, and then open up to the side. 3, 4, exhaling as we rise. Remember, our goal is to keep that spine neutral throughout our lunge. And to the side. 4. Throughout, that right foot is down. And 5. Reverse. Good. Okay, now we'll move to the other side of the chair. Left foot remains down. Ready? Forward, back, and to the side. Forward, back, 2, 3, back, 4, forward, back, and 5. Okay, excellent. So now we should feel really good, hopefully. Maybe a little tired, but we feel like we've done some things in our hips. So now I want you to reach for your dumbbells. Now we're going to do something a little bit different. So we're gonna do bicep curls, but we're gonna do it from a split stance, okay? When we talk about bicep curls in a neutral stance, we don't really think about what am I using to engage my torso to keep myself still. But when we're in a split stance, we definitely do, okay? So I'm gonna give you a diagonal view of me. I'm gonna stride forward with my left foot, back with my right. And you notice how broad my stance is? I'm not here with my feet directly under my hips. I'm going to open up a bit more, but I just did this hip opener with my lunges, okay? So now I can focus on engaging through my glutes to hold myself still, okay? So we're going to do a set of 10 bicep curls here. 1, 2, and I'm trying to keep my glutes engaged throughout. 4, 5, and I'm doing hammer curls right now. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now I'm going to do another round of curls, but I'm going to switch my stance, okay? So now with my left leg back, that glute is going to be really tight. My right leg, that glute isn't going to be as tight, okay? It's a little bit more lengthened, but I'm relying on my hamstring glute connection to help me stay stable. Let's go 10 here. 1, 2, and my spine is still nice and straight. 3, I'm not bent over. 4, 5, 6, 7. You may feel very active in your feet. 8, 9, and 10. Okay, and now hopefully you have a little burn in your biceps. So now let's go into that neutral stance. And we're going to get into a bend over position and do reverse flies. Okay, so bend over, fanny going back, lowering that neutral spine, round the arms. Exhale, open. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, elbows to ceiling, 9, and 10. Okay, lower the arms, hinge your way up. All right, now we're gonna do a little bit of high marching. Okay, so set your dumbbells down, find your neutral position, high march in 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. Okay, so now we're working on really promoting a lot of blood flow down low. Okay, we were working on stabilization. We had some lunges, but that was forever ago. So now we're gonna get that blood flowing through our muscles. Get those knees up, belly button high. Good. Arms are pumping, making sure you're staying in a straight line with those arms. So think thumbs, ear to hip, ear to hip. Good. Excellent work. We have 10 more seconds. Keep it up. Good. Lift, 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 lift. All right, good job. Okay, now we're back to our lunge chair. Okay. All right. So we have another set, just like the first. We're going to do rounds of 10, okay? All right, so I'm going to keep my right foot down as I work through this lunge. Ready, steady, forward. 1, backward, and out to the side. 2, exhaling as you rise, and to the side. 3, 4, nicely done. It's not critical to get that knee down. What is critical is to find the glute engagement back there. And 5, glutes, glutes. Pushing off that leg. Good, okay, other side. Ready, all right, left foot is down. Stride forward, 1. Good, focus on that forward leg, the heel. So you don't get into the knee. Let's strengthen and leverage those strong hamstrings and glutes. Good, one more. And to the side. Good, okay. Split stance bicep curls. All right, you ready? Feet are together. Stride forward with the left leg, nice and wide. Toes are pointed straight. All right, my right leg is bent and I'm focused on squeezing that glute. Belly button to spine. Exhale and curl. Nice and controlled. 2, 3, 5. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose, in, out through the mouth. 8, 9, and 10. Good. Bring your feet together. Step forward with the right or back with the left, whichever it is. Okay. Nice and wide. Now squeeze that back butt. Exhale and curl. 1, 2, 3. So elbows are into your ribs, engaging your lats. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good, feet together. Okay, now we'll be bent over to these reverse flies. Okay, neutral, feet nice and parallel, hinging forward, arms dangling down, then round them, and let's go. 1, elbows to the ceiling, drawn by the back. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Hinge your way up. And one more round of high marches. Okay, ready, steady. We have 45 seconds. Let's go and march. Good. The first 10 seconds here feels great because you feel like, all right, I need that blood flow. I was focused on stabilizing and it feels good to move. Okay, so we're moving, good. And before you know it, 15 seconds is down. Okay, so now we can focus on shoulder blades down in our back, tops of shoulders are relaxed, neck is relaxed. Good, and that's almost 15 seconds with that focal point. So now draw your belly button in. Think about the height of your knees. Think about the direction of your thumbs, shoulders, hips, or maybe it's ears, hips, right? 3, 2, and 1. Okay, good job. Nice work. All right, now we're gonna move on to circuit 2. Okay, so I'm gonna set those dumbbells down. Circuit 2, we're going to start, well, circuit 2 is gonna be a lot with our chair, okay? So we're gonna start in a seated position for circuit 2, and we're gonna do airplane arms in a bent over position from our chair. Okay, and then we have some pike push-ups, which will be about our shoulders. And then we have some halos. So we'll want a dumbbell, a single dumbbell for our halos. And then we have mountain climbers, okay? So a lot in our chair. All right, so to begin, we have our airplane arms. Okay, so really important. Legs in parallel, feet on the ground, and your heels are under your knees. Not toes under knees, heels under knees, okay? So they're landing straight down. Okay, and then we're gonna hinge forward, melting forward, feeling that stretch, okay, and then let your arms dangle. Okay, now we're gonna draw the backs of our hands up to the ceiling, keeping your chest as soft as you can, okay? Inhale into the chest, exhale, draw those arms up and down. And you're focusing on using the backs of shoulders and your back to do this. Five more. 2, 3, 4, and 5. So our goal there is to utilize the back of the shoulders and get that active and not drawing from our chest, but using the backs of the shoulders. Now we have pike push-ups. Okay, so now we need to position our chair a little bit differently. All right, so we're going to be bent over our chair, but we want to take our gaze down to our feet. Okay, so let's get up on your tiptoes more. Okay, so the heels are lifted off the ground. You're gazing at your feet and your hands are framing the chair. And then we're going to bend at the elbows, lowering our head to our chair and press back up, down and up. So we're working through our elbows and our shoulders. So triceps, biceps, shoulders. 5, 6, and I'm able to land my head on my chair. 8, 9, and 10. Excellent. Okay, and now we're going to sit back down for this next set of 10. And I'm going to select a single weight, a heavy weight, as heavy as I can handle, okay? And we're going to work on halos. So we're going to do figure 8 halos. So we're going to wrap around our head and our waist, right? So as we reach behind our back, we're looking for really good range of motion. If you can get your arm parallel to the ground across your back, that's kind of ideal, right? We're externally rotating in the shoulder. Now, if that's hard for you with no weight, obviously don't reach for something really heavy. We're trying to work on that dexterity, but also that range of motion. So be mindful of what your shoulders will do for you, okay? So let's go figure 8s, 5 one way. So wrapping around the scarf and then take it down, hand to hand around the waist and back to center. Wrap around, hand to hand around the waist, center. 3, 4, this isn't a fast movement, it's a precise movement. And 5. Good, after 5, change directions. Wrap around the neck the other way. 2, wrap around, and then around the waist. 3, 4. Did you hear how I just used my breath? Because I want to stay still in my torso as I wrap that dumbbell around my waist. And that's 5. Good. Okay, now we have our chair mountain climbers. Okay, so again, we're bent over our chair, nice neutral spine, and we're going to step back into a nice incline high plank. All right, we're ready? You're going to drive knee to armpit. 1, 2, and our goal is stable shoulders, squeeze through the armpits. 5, 2, 6, 2, 7, 2, 8, 2, 9, 2, and 10, 2. Excellent. Okay, step it in. All right. Now we have 30 seconds of over, under, unders. Okay, you ready? So again, hip mobility. So we're lifting those legs as high as we can over a boulder. Ready? Over, under, playing limbo, over, under, and under, over. So you're kind of drawing an arc with your heel, over, under the rope, over, under, and under. One more, over, under, and under. Good. Okay, back to the top, back to our chair. Okay, so we're back to our airplane arms. All right, so we're seated on our chair, finding our sit bones, finding those parallel legs. All right, then we're gonna hinge forward, not rounding. So melting belly button through sternum forward. Drop those arms. Okay, now I'm looking up at you, and I know you're probably looking up at me, but I want you to focus on a neutral neck. So you shouldn't be craned up, and your neck shouldn't be drawn to your chest. Nice and even. Okay, now let's pull from the back and the backs of shoulders. 10, exhale, 1, 3, 4, and my hands are just dangling limp because I'm trying to focus on not pulling from the front side of my body, I'm pulling from the back side. 8, 9, and 10. Good. All right, back to our pike push-ups. All right, so position your chair. Okay, you can go into your pike push-up, you can hinge forward, right? And then plant the hands, okay? And then, so you're in your modified tabletop, and then you're gonna send your feet out just a little bit, weight on the balls of your feet, gaze down at your toes. All right, draw that belly button in, exhale, lower your head to the chair and press away. 3. Now, if you can focus on this work, think about loading all that weight into your shoulders as you're lowering it to the ground. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Excellent. Okay, halos. Back to the dumbbell. All right, you ready? Wrapping it around the neck. Let's go one way. Ready, steady, go. All the way around and then around the waist. 1, 2, 3. And as I do so, if you're watching me, you'll see that I'm focusing on my grip at the start and end of each repetition. So I have control over it as I wrap it around my head and my neck. Okay, that's 5. Now I'm switching directions. Good. It's dexterity, not speed. Don't want to drop these things. 9 and 10. Good. Okay, nicely done. Limber fingers. Doing what we want them to. Okay. All right, and our last set of chair mountain climbers. So finding your tabletop, finding that tension in your armpits and not your shoulders. Stepping back into your incline plank. Inhale into the chest. Exhale into your work. 1, 2, 3. And as our knees thrusting forward, our pelvis is unmoved by it. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good, stepping forward. Okay, and we're on our last round of over, over, under, unders. Ready? We'll start in 3, 2, and 1. Over, over, under, and under. Over, over. Now you want to have an engaged core, right? So the legs painting up and over the heel, but using that exhale to stabilize your spine. And then that's just kind of a lateral lunge, that under, under, right? And we practice those in the first set. We know what we're doing. Under, under. One more. Over, over, under, and under. Good. Okay, here we go with the last round of work, okay? So we have semi-squat punches, okay? Followed by squat thrusters, followed by standing oblique crunches. Okay, so if you need the chair for balance for those standing oblique crunches, be aware, have it handy. Semi-squat punches, we're gonna sit deeply in our shock absorbers and punch forward, okay? So we get chest, lat, biceps. Great work as we keep everything stable. And then we'll go right into squat thrusters. So you can use the same weights as you're able, okay? So I'm gonna grab my dumbbells that I'm gonna use for this work. And then when I do those oblique crunches, I'll put them down. Okay, so ready? Feet comfortably distance apart. Okay, I'm gonna sit down just a little bit so I can feel my inner thighs. See that? My hips are back, my weight is back. All right, my dumbbells are here. Ready, steady, punch. 2, and it's palms down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, this is pairs, 8, 9, and 10. Draw them back. All right, now we're gonna stack them on our shoulders. And we're gonna sit down into our squat and then press to the ceiling as we rise. Ready? Inhale, squat. Exhale, press. Now, when we do squat thrusters, the word thruster should make you think, gosh, this must be an energetic movement, and it is. The goal is to think about powering from your hamstrings to drive the weights to the ceiling. 9 and 10. Good. So in a normal programming, if you had a broad series of weights, you'd want a little bit heavier weight there to push yourself to say, I can thrust this to the ceiling with a little bit heavier weight. Okay, now we have 10 oblique crunches. So you know how to stand and use it for balance. So if you need the balance of the stick or the chair, have it to one side, other hand is at your ear. Okay, if you don't need it, let's work with control. Okay, ready? Exhale, 1, knee to elbow. 2, working on centering the gravity over that standing leg. 5, 6, contracting hip to armpit. 9 and 10. Good, so we're getting glute, oblique, and lat. Okay, switch legs, ready? 1, 2, and if you can get a tiny isometric hold with knee at elbow, great. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Excellent. Okay, so now we have our in and outs. Okay, we have 30 seconds. So in and out footwork, in, out. You ready? Steady. Let's go. In, out, in, out. So no shuffling feet, get the feet off the ground, but we are working quickly. We're gonna do this set, stay with the same leading foot that you chose. For the next set, we'll alternate. Together and apart. Good, get those glutes moving. Get them working. Good, okay, and you're done. Excellent. All right, let's start at the top again. Semi-squat punches. All right, so I'll give you my diagonal. All right, feet comfortably distance apart. Bending the knee, sitting down in my hips, belly button in. Right, I'm gonna curl up my weights and I'm gonna punch across, okay? Palms down, ready, steady, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we're gonna go right into our squat thrusters. 10. Stack them. Ready? Squat and thrust. 2, 3, 4. So work from your heels to balls of your feet. No thrusting of the hips forward. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good, okay, you starting to feel your shoulders? All right, standing oblique crunches. Ready, steady, and let's go. 1 2. Now this one, we can slow it down and work on balance. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Switching sides, ready? Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Okay, our last round of cardio here. We have 30 seconds of in and out feet. Let's be mindful, lead with the other foot. Ready, steady, let's go. Out, in. And isn't it funny how it just feels backwards? You can do it. All right. So we're trying to fire that brain to work this way. So this is brain training. Good. Breathe into that core. Good. 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. All right. I know I haven't given you much of a break at all here for a drink. So go ahead and take a drink now. The next set is going to be on the ground. And we're going to start working our mindset into Pilates. Okay. So we're going to start in tabletop. So I want you to work your way down to the ground safely and meaningfully, okay? So the ideal would be to utilize some balance to help you get into a half kneel, right? And then bring the other knee down, and then we're gonna go into a tabletop position. Okay, so tabletop, knees under hips, parallel to hips, so our knees aren't kissing together, and wrists are under armpits, okay? So you got that position. We have that nice space in between down the midline. Okay, and what we're gonna focus on first is leg raises. Okay, so what we'll do is, first of all, let's start off with our breath. Okay, so in this tabletop position, we know to stabilize our spine, we need to use our breath and our core. So pelvic floor, transverse abdominis, and rib cage. Now, unlike a position where we're laying flat on our backs and our transverse sinks toward our spine, now our transverse has to lift toward our spine, okay? So I want you to think about exhale and lift the transverse up to the spine and squeezing that tube like a tube of toothpaste without arching the back, okay? You're just exhale and the transverse lifts. Inhale into the chest. Exhale. Okay, now on the next exhale, you're gonna extend the right leg straight back. So the toe is on the ground and the right leg is straight. And the hands are still positioned and the knee is still positioned. Okay, now we're gonna focus on hamstring and glute. So with our exhale, we're gonna contract through the hamstring and glute and try and float that right leg off of the ground without using your quad. Okay, so inhale into the chest, exhale, lift, and back down. 3. Now we don't want to arch the back. So if you feel like it's getting into your low back and I can't see you, don't raise your leg as high, okay? I want you to think about, I'm lifting my leg by contracting through my hamstring. 9 and 10. Good. Okay, draw the knee back under the hip and then extend the other leg. Okay, so we want to maintain our hips in parallel even though that leg of the stool is no longer there to help out. So be mindful, use your core muscles to try to support that side of the hip, okay? So think lats, think obliques. All right, ready? We're gonna exhale, contract left hamstring and glute to float the left leg off the ground. Inhale into the chest. And exhale, contract. 1. And it's a small movement. Only as big as you can, but maintain that neutral spine. 5, 6, and if you can't do 10 reps, that's okay. 8, 9, and 10. Now lower that leg. Now I have this thing that I call parking the garage. My left leg is still extended. When I draw my left leg back under my hip, did I have to adjust my hips in order for it to fit? Right? Whenever you park your car in the garage and you back out and have to do it 2 or 3 times, you know, you've shifted your angles or else you're going to knock your windows off. Here, I want you to think, have I maintained the right angle of my hips so that I can draw my knee back into place without having to lift or lower? That's called parking the garage, parking the car in the garage. Okay. All right. So if you need a little break for your wrists, go ahead and sit back, shake them out. The next element we're going to work on is bird dogs. So bird dogs are taking us not just from 4 legs to three-legged stool, but a 2-legged stool. Okay, so one leg is going to shoot out straight back, heel to the wall, and the opposite arm is going to release off the ground and reach toward the opposite wall. Okay, so, and the goal is to maintain parallel shoulders, parallel hips as you do it. Okay, so we're definitely going to work through our breath. Typically, I would ask that we'll do 5 on one side before we switch to the other side, okay? So finding your tabletop, finding that tension in your armpits and that sensation of being broad and strong across your shoulder blades. So I don't want you sinking your chest toward the ground. I want you squeezing through the armpits and feeling broad and strong across your shoulder blades, okay? Knees are comfortably distanced. Okay, now inhale into the chest and exhale. Left leg is going to extend toward the back wall, heels driving and right arms extending. Okay, inhale, draw them in. Exhale, extend. Inhale, draw them in. Exhale, extend. And you're not pointing your toe, you're driving your heel back. 4, last one. And 5, good, okay, park the car. All right, now we drive the heels, so we think that posterior chain of muscles. When you point your toe, you're gonna squeeze your quads, and I don't want you to think with your quads, I want you to think with your hamstring and glutes. Now it'll be right leg, left arm, ready? Inhale into the chest. Exhale, transverse deepens and wraps, extend. 2, 3, draw together. 4, and 5. Okay, park the car. Excellent, back in the garage. Okay, so that was our second round. All right, third round. Now we're gonna do hydrants. Okay, so hydrants are what they sound. They are an exercise we're going to use where we're sweeping a leg out to the side, and it's a visualization about like a dog peeing on a fire hydrant. But it's a really great way for you to think about stabilization and engagement, okay? So here we are in our tabletop position, and I'm going to activate on my right side. I want to keep my arms straight, okay? You might feel this desire to bend an elbow. Your left elbow as the right side works, but keep them straight, keep them right under the armpit. Okay, inhale into the chest. Exhale, engage the low belly and sweep the kneecap out. 2, 3, 4, and make your weight, your leg, a dead weight for your glutes and obliques. 6, 7, you're not just swinging, you're doing it nice and slow, and imagine that glute is pulling the knee up. And 10, good, and lower with control. Okay, I notice I lifted about an inch, and I still am evaluating, am I parking my car in the garage, right? Okay, so here I am again, ready to work my left leg. All right, inhale into my chest. Exhale, sweep the left knee out and in, arms are straight, glutes and obliques. 3, long isometric holds. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Okay, park the car. Excellent. All right, now we're going to start at the top and go again with that sequence. Actually, you know what? We'll do our spine stretch. Okay, so in yoga, there is a movement that goes cat cow, and a lot of people are familiar with it. It's one that we do from tabletop. And as we do cat, right, the spine goes to the ceiling and the fur goes up. And as we do cow, we sink, right, and create the opposite effect that the spine is sinking toward the ground. Well, in Pilates, we don't do that sink. We stretch the spine into a sequential curve as it's reaching for the ceiling. Think about it like a bird trying to press its way out of a shell, like a baby bird trying to break out of its eggshell. And then we rest, returning to neutral. We don't go into the compression of the low back. We don't sink the belly toward the ground, okay? All right, so the real key is when you do this spine stretch, being that baby bird is your transverse, right? And it's trying to press its way out to meet the world, breaking out of the eggshell. And that's your transverse, okay? So I'm gonna inhale into my chest, and I'm gonna exhale, and I'm gonna start wrapping my transverse so strongly that I feel my shoulder blades separate and my spine lengthen and stretch toward the ceiling. And I'm gonna hold my spine up there by contracting through my transverse and rib cage. And then I'm gonna reset back to neutral. Okay, we will not do 10 of these. We'll do maybe 3, okay? Inhale into the chest and exhale. Now, as you reach the height of your spine stretch, your gaze may fall down toward your knees as your head dangles there. That's great. Okay, I want you to feel like you're not aggressively stretching your back muscles. Your back muscles are going to be stretched by virtue of contracting through your front side muscles. Okay, last one. Inhale into the chest and exhale. Good. Okay, so now we're going to take it back to the top. All right, so we have these tabletop leg raises. Okay. All right, so we're here again in our tabletop position. Okay, I'm going to switch so you can see. Okay, wrists under armpits, shoulder blades settled in my mid back, long and strong across my mid back. Exhale and extend that right leg. So I'm now on my toes with my right leg, but everything else is unchanged. I'm not shifting back. My wrists still need to be under my armpits, okay? Did you see that? All right, ready? Okay, now we're gonna inhale into the chest and exhale, contract through the hamstring and glute, raise that leg, keep the quad soft. Exhale, contract. Now, headlight imagery is good here too, because you want your shoulders and hips to stay pointed down toward the ground. Use your low belly to protect your low back. 3 more if you can. Pausing at the top, resting all the weight of that leg in your hamstrings and glutes. And 10. Okay, toe down, park the knee in the garage. Good. All right, switch sides. Okay, making sure your weight is centered over the parts where you want them, okay? Inhale into the chest. Exhale, engage left side, lat to oblique as that leg slides out. Okay, so we're kind of in a half plank, aren't we? Huh. Okay, ready? Inhale into the chest. Exhale, contract. No rotation. Good. Wrap your head around that dead leg. Your left leg is dead. You're pulling it off the ground by contracting through hamstring and glute. 6, 7. Foot is dead. If you need to relate to another body part that you should not be overly gripping with, it's your foot. Good. Now draw that knee in. Park the car in the garage. Good. Okay. For those of you that are interested, that is how I teach us get into high plank. Okay, so it would be the same fashion. We would just extend that other bent leg, all right, which we'll go over soon enough. But now we're going back into our bird dogs, okay? So we have opposite side, arm and leg extending, balancing on 2 limbs, okay? Ready? Inhale into the chest. Exhale, extend. Inhale as they draw back in. Exhale, extend. One more. Inhale into the chest. Exhale, extends. Draw it in and plant the hands and knee. All right, opposite side now. Reset your hands as you need to. Grip through the, hang on through the armpits. All right, exhale, extend. 1. Draw in, nice and balanced. 2. Remember, you're driving your heel. 3. And not your toes. 4. And 5. Good, draw it in, park the car. Well done. Okay, what do we have left? We have hydrants. Okay. All right, so shake your wrists out if you need to, run circles with them. We have hydrants. Okay. So the real key here, guys, I know you can fake this, but the hard part is to get that transverse wrapped to protect your spine, okay? So if you learn anything out of this segment, besides all the balancing and the hamstring work, it's wrap your transverse, get that low belly moving up toward the spine to protect your low back, okay? All right, so now we have hydrants. Okay, you ready? Finding your position, wrists under armpits. Okay, neutral spine, belly button in. Inhale through the chest and exhale into your hydrant. 1, and we're working oblique and glutes, nice and slow. 3, 4. So nothing else should be moving, nothing else should be working. I mean, it's working, but you shouldn't be evident that you're working. We're not bending. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Okay, now we're going to switch sides. And really, from a Pilates standpoint, sometimes people will teach hydrants that you get that knee up as high as you can. And in so doing, you're creating a little bit of instability in your hip. You're probably rotating it a little bit. But here we don't want you to. We want your knee to come up only as high as your range of motion will allow you to do, but maintain stability in your shoulders and hips, okay? So turn those headlights on, the front of the hips, the front of the shoulders, pointing down toward the mat, toward your carpet, toward your blanket, okay? All right, relax in the neck and tops of shoulders, wrists under armpits. Inhale into the chest, exhale, pelvic floor and transverse, and lift. 4, 5, 6, glute oblique, 7, check in with your left arm right now, make sure it's straight, 9, and 10. Good, park the car in the garage, sit back, shake the wrists out, and we have our last round of spine stretch. Okay, now, just as a quick diversion for you guys, I'm gonna show you how I go into plank. All right, give your wrists a little break. So as we did for going into our that leg extension work, the leg raises, we do one leg, exhale and squeeze lat to oblique. And then we exhale, squeeze lat to oblique and extend the other leg. So it's very intentional to get into plank, and we'll talk about that. We're gonna build up to that. Hopefully we'll be ready in a week or so to work on our planks, okay? But now let's do our spine stretch. All right, so wrists under armpits. All right, we're thinking baby bird, right? We're trying to get out of our egg. We're ready to hatch, okay? Inhale into our chest. Exhale, transverse wrapping, rib cage closing. Soften the shoulder blades. Gaze dropping, looking between your legs. Good, and resettling back to neutral. Inhale into the chest. Exhale, belly button to spine. Transverse presses the spine towards the ceiling, head drops, gaze drops between your legs. Good, resetting back to neutral. Take one more. Inhale into the chest and exhale. And inhale, reset. Okay. All right, good work, guys. That was a lot on our wrists. I apologize, but it was a nice kind of stable sequence. We were not at our ultimate stability, which is shoulders and hips on the ground, either on our back or on our bellies, but it was pretty good because we still had 4 points of contact and we're still responsible for maintaining our neutral spine. I hope you like that sequence, okay? That was a little bit of step up from what we've been doing, and we'll continue to work through and advance our thinking with our Mat Pilates. So thank you so much. Today is Thursday. Have a great weekend, and I will see you next Tuesday.